Deputy Finance Minister Mcebisi Jonas has many claims in an affidavit in the Oakbay matter. Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan has approached the court seeking a declaratory order confirming it would be unlawful for him to interfere in the dispute between the Guptas and several financial institutions. This comes days after businessman Ajay Gupta stated under oath for the first time that he did not meet with Deputy Finance Minister Mcebisi Jonas or offer him the job of Finance Minister prior to the sacking of Nhlanhla. Now let's take a look at the key points of Jonas's affidavit. He claims that he met Ajay Gupta at a Saxon Mold home on the 23rd of October 2015, where he was offered the job as a finance minister. He indicates that the Gupta family member that he met might have been someone else from the Gupta family, as he had indicated in his original public statement. He goes on to suggest that in the State of Capture report, the public protector confirmed his claim that he was offered the finance ministry by Ajay Gupta at a Saxon Mold residence. He argues that Mr. Ajay Gupta's denial of the alleged meeting with Jonas may be unreliable. He then repeats allegations that Mr. Ajay Gupta sought his assistance for growing his revenue from the government to 8 billion rand per year from 6 billion a year. He then repeats allegations that Ajay Gupta offered to pay him 600 million rand in an account of his choice and another 600,000 rand in cash. He wants Mr. Ajay Gupta to submit transcripts of the public protector's interview with Jonas to the court. But the Deputy Finance Minister Mcebisi Jonas' affidavit fails to clear the air and raises several questions. Firstly, why was he unsure about the identity of the Gupta family member he met as he had seen their pictures? Was it responsible for Jonas to publicly blame Ajay Gupta as the one who had made the offer if Jonas was unsure? Why doesn't he provide reasons for not reporting the matter to the cops and preventing the sacking of Nene? How is it that Gordhan denies knowing about the ministry offer to Jonas only until after he became the finance minister, when Jonas claims to have informed him immediately after the offer was made? And lastly, whether the claim that Ajay Gupta confessed to making 6 billion rand per year from the government be considered a boast by Ajay Gupta or a figment of Jonas's imagination. In light of the above, the arguments of the Deputy Finance Minister seems to be a desperate spin instead of providing a legal argument. Jonas in his affidavit says that since Ajay Gupta's affidavit says that the public protector latched onto Jonas's version, it proves that the public protector accepted his claim of Ajay Gupta offering him the finance ministry. It further argues that Ajay Gupta's denial of any meeting with Jonas should be disregarded, as the public protector reports records that Des van Rooyen's presence in Saxon Mold, despite Mr. Ajay Gupta's denial of van Rooyen's visits to his Saxon Mold residence. It further adds that an inclusive public protector report that couldn't determine if Jonas had indeed been offered a ministerial position by Mr. Ajay Gupta has accepted his version. And joining us on the phone line is Oakbay lawyer Gert van der Merwe. Very good morning to you, Gert. Thank you so much for joining us here on Morning Prime. Thank you so much for your time. Firstly, what do you think about what seems like an ambiguous stance by Mcebisi Jonas on meeting with Ajay Gupta? On one hand, he seems to be empathetically saying that he met Ajay Gupta, and on the other hand, he seems to be backing out by saying, I had indicated in my original statement that the job was offered by Mr. Gupta family members. It seems less convincing and more like an exit route. What are your thoughts?
Well, let me tell you this. Good morning, firstly. I understand the affidavit may be a little bit different, and I understand the affidavit for Mr. Jonas to be very clear that he says that he met with Mr. Ajay Gupta. And I understand the affidavit to be a repetition of that particular remark. So I assume the question is then, if Mr. Ajay Gupta says that he's never met this person in his life, how on earth can we get to the conclusion of Mr. Jonas? And I think that is obviously the remark that will have to stand the test of time.
Now, is there merit in Jonas using van Rooyen's phone records as listed in the public protector report to attempt to discredit Ajay Gupta's denial of van Rooyen's visits to Saxon Mold and by extension discredit Ajay Gupta's denial of any meeting with Jonas?
Now, you see a reference to phone records and that in this affidavit is at best a little bit opportunistic with respect, simply because of the fact that it's not firstly, first-hand evidence, and secondly, those allegations are to be tested as and when a judge is appointed to do the inquiry. And they will be tested, I can tell you that. We've begged the public protector to give us the opportunity to present a version. We've still not been afforded the opportunity, but we will have the opportunity.
Now, Jonas, in his affidavit, is asking for the transcripts of his testimony to the public protector to be submitted to court as evidence. Is Ajay Gupta ready to do this?
What I can tell you, and I'm in the process of obtaining instructions on that, is we are of the view that since there's an invitation by Mr. Jonas to have his evidence disclosed, I will communicate with the Office of the Public Protector and ask for permission to disclose everything. I'm of the view that it's relevant and it's important to get all the true facts to the public, and if that means that it's the evidence that's transcribed, so be it.
Do you see any other weakness in Jonas's affidavit?
Look, it's not for me to criticize either my colleagues or my opponents. That's the work of a judge. So I'll reserve my view on that and argue that in court.
And now, is there any legal relevance to Jonas's point that the Oakbay affidavit follows the closing of affidavits and heads of argument? Do we need to worry about this being late at all?
The short answer is it's factually incorrect. The affidavit was commissioned the day prior to the heads, and to the extent that there might be any prejudice, we will simply afford our opponents the opportunity to file supplementary heads if they want.
And then lastly, before we let you go, how can Jonas claim, given firstly the seriousness of the accusation he was going to make, and secondly the implication of Section 34 of the 2004 Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act, that there is no merit in the suggestion that he shouldn't have waited 5 to 6 months before saying anything?
Yeah, well, you see, it's a bit worse. It's not a suggestion. The Act is clear. If you know about corrupt activities, you need to report it. And as I understand it, until today, this has not been reported nor being investigated. And I further understand that it was shared with other ministers. So my concern is of a serious nature, and I suppose that's something that those individuals will have to discuss with authorities at some point in time.
Gert van der Merwe, thank you so much for your time here on Morning Prime. We really do appreciate it. That was Oakbay lawyer Gert van der Merwe.